Alright, hello, I'm back. I've been a bit sick the last few days, that's why I haven't done a video. Because I've been wanting to do a video for a few days now about this whole thing. On March the 8th, this dude coming into power in Iran. So, of course, if you've been watching the channel, I was talking about Madonna dying on 3/8. And that didn't happen. Swing and a miss. I'm back. Now the shame of getting that prediction wrong has passed. Uh, okay, but the big but is actually there was a lot of stuff connected to this whole thing that connected right back to Madonna, and in fact, I say unfortunately, a lot of those 3/8 references and a lot of the references up to this date, with this dude coming in on the 8th of March, actually tie right back into Madonna. And in fact, this whole thing ties right back into Madonna and the idea of, a new king being born. Okay, the new king coming from the death of the queen. Okay, well, proceeding, obviously not a queen in this situation, but we have a lot of references back to the queen. Okay, so I think we'll just go through some of this stuff right now. And I want to show you why this dude is so important in terms of where we were at with that date. And again, we did talk before this happened just briefly about Pulp Fiction and the connection to Flock of Seagulls, which has the song I Ran. And so we had connected that back with the scene in Pulp Fiction to Madonna, and obviously to this whole thing on the 28th when the previous dude of Iran was assassinated. Okay, let's go through some of these numbers so we can see what's going on. The first thing we need to do is we need to know some details about this guy. Oh, and before we get going on it, politics of Iran. Look at it. It's a set of balls here with a wiener, and then what appears to be some kind of Vesica Pisces vagina shape with the with the lips on each side. I mean, I don't know what to say other than crazy, absolutely mental. But anyway, sidetracked already, because this is what we're talking about. We're talking about the resurrection of man. We're talking about this is symbolism that just keeps popping up. Excuse the pun. Right, I forgot what I was going to do now. We need to know something about this dude. We need to know some details. Let's get his assumed office 8th of March. And in fact, it says on that other page that they announced him on the 9th of March as well, which is kind of interesting because why wouldn't you just announce him on the 8th? Why does it say in Wikipedia announced on the 9th? I've got a little connection to that, but that also connects to the Hoover Dam. 3/9 numerology connects to the Hoover Dam. Anyway, we want to know his personal details, and straight away we can see that he is born on the Queen's death date. Okay, the 8th of September, 69. Okay, so what we want to do, so we already know there's a Queen connection there. So this whole thing with Madonna and Queen being the Queen of Pop, and the Queen's connection here, and the Queen's death's connection, yeah, even though this is his birthday, which again, think about it with, and I mean Decoding Cody was talking about this. I didn't watch his whole video on it, and I don't know why he was connecting back to the 8th of March with his decode or anything. but he was also talking about the idea of a prince being crowned, and which is the same. It's kind of the same idea of what I've been talking about, which is Madonna dying, and then of course you have the rebirth of man. The new king is born. It's coming out of the matrix, regaining your sovereignty, your individual sovereignty. Okay, same ideas as the king being born. So of course him having a birthday that is the equivalent of the queen dying is him being reborn just on his own birthday, if you like. Crazy stuff again. Anyway, so we want to do some number jumps with this dude, and I'll go back over the Iran thing with Flock of Seagulls. And I guess there's a couple of other things that I want to mention with this whole deal as well, but there's a whole bunch of interesting number jumps. And if anybody does know why Cody was picking the 8th of March for his thing, I'd be interested to know. But we had a whole bunch of number jumps for this. I mean, just tons of stuff that was connecting with Madonna and 3/8. Okay, let me also show you the idea about him being crowned. Okay, let me show you something with Madonna and crown very quickly. You'll notice that crown is very similar to Madonna in the gematria. Yeah, Madonna's a 62, 26, 37. And then if you look at crown, it has the 62, 26, 73. And I was showing you a whole bunch of train connections with this whole thing. 62, 26, 73, 37. Okay, so you see the gematria here, very, very similar. And the idea is, as you come out of the female, as you come out of that birthing canal, yeah, what we have is the crowning. Okay, and it's interesting with that politics. Let's go back to that picture in just a second. But the crowning, that is when your head pops out, yeah, when you are birthed. That's, again, a reference to the rebirth. Okay, the sun goes behind the moon into the when we're talking about the eclipse, into the tomb, and then there is a crown right before. Of course, it's in there, and then the crown comes, and the rebirth happens. Okay, so that ring, or the crown, or corona, or whatever you want to call it, when that is the precursor to being reborn. Yeah, just as the head starting to pop out of the vaginal opening, that is the precursor to being reborn. Okay, anyway, funnily enough, just look at let's go back a second to this. This is the which way, if you were referencing being born, this is the correct way up for that. Okay, so here's the vagina, and the head of the penis is, so the penis and testicles represents physical mankind, both men and women in the physical format. Okay, so this is the idea of the physical man being born, right? The prince being born. This is facing the right way for a birth ritual symbolism here. Okay, this thing's coming down head first out of the vagina. So this is interesting that we've had this whole thing with him being reborn on quite a significant date. Anyway, crack on, Dan. So I'm not going to say I got my decode was wrong. My prediction was Madonna to die on this date, but this has so much connectivity, it's just unbelievable. And subsequently, after we looked at that stuff for Pulp Fiction, I've gone back to it again to double check some of the future dates coming up, which I want to talk about with this guy. So this would probably be a good time to go to the chart that we've been using that connects back to the train, okay, and also connects back to the Queen and the idea of birthing from the Queen. So let's go to that chart now, which is this one right here. We don't need to worry. Let's just scroll this. That's what I don't worry about. Everything. Let's put a line on here so I can just anything. All this stuff underneath this black line. Don't worry about right for now. That's for other decodes and stuff. We just want to worry about all the stuff that's right between these two black lines, right? And without spending an hour explaining all this, right? We were looking at two dates that is in this line here, which is to do with this line here is to do with balance in this particular table. Okay, these are all, this is the Fibonacci cycle, this is the Lucas cycle over here, and this is the pi cycle. And then these same cycles repeat in just a slightly different order. I mean, they're in order, but they just start in a different place, okay? So what I have here is all three cycles kind of laid out how they would be, and this is all there is, okay? There's just three cycles that repeat, and there are 5 versions of Fibonacci cycle in here, 2 Lucas and 2 pi, okay? And that's all there is. So this is all the cycles to do with those number sequences, okay? A number sequence that builds from its previous numerical value. It then builds on and progresses forwards, okay? I don't know how to explain it without just spending an hour messing with it. But the point of this is the middle of this table, where we find perfect balance in this particular table, is at this 4-4 in the middle here, 4-4. So this is a date. I have probably talked about it before for Madonna in conjunction with the Golden ID code, but we had been looking at this date for Madonna, right? And this is the date that this dude, Iran dude, becomes essentially king of Iran, president or whatever he is, supreme leader. And of course, so we were looking at that for Madonna, and we were also looking at 4-9 for the Hoover Dam. Now, also bear in mind that Hoover Dam and Madonna dates are kind of interchangeable, because again, we're dealing with the same idea of birth from the feminine, from the divine feminine, which is not the divine feminine with Madonna, but the idea is that the divine feminine there with Madonna has turned into the old crone, okay, and has to be refreshed as well, has to be rebirthed itself as well, which leads to the rebirth of both the metaphysical and the physical man, you know, the metaphysical man, the spiritual man, and the physical man, both rebirthing at the same time, okay? Oh dear. Anyway, geez whiz. Okay, how do I explain this? So we were looking at this for Madonna, we were looking at this for the Hoover Dam. Well, we've moved on now, okay? And there's 2 more dates that are in here that I want to show you to do with Madonna and the Golden ID code. Now, I think what I'll do is split this off into another video, because I want to kind of focus back on the Iran stuff for right now. But we need to be paying attention to a couple of things, and I will explain this again. This date is also a hot date for Madonna now. Okay, this date's already passed, of course, with the Iran thing. Okay, and what I just want to say is that from this date here over to this date here, okay, between these 2 dates, in the calendar terms of things, there's 33 days. Okay, and so now I'm looking at Madonna for 4-4. Okay, and 4-4 happens to be, in conjunction with 33, is very interesting, because 4-4 happens to be connections back, what would I say? Connections back to Lazarus, which I've talked about before with the name Lazarus and Las Vegas, and also Lazarus's feast day, who has also died and resurrected, actually 4 days he spent in his death and resurrection process, rather than the 3 days of Christ. So he does 4 days, and his feast day is the White Wedding. It's the 29th of July. So he's extremely important in all this. And if you recall, of course, we could go back to David Bowie, and I've got some stuff with him to do as well, some number jumps. Not going to do it in this video again, but in Black Star, which was what Madonna is, she is the Black Star right now. She's the Black Pearl. Okay, she is the tomb, the matrix that we're stuck in. Okay, and so Black Star, that of course he has the song Lazarus in there. And what is more important about this whole number line is that in each number line, in each one of these cycles, there is a set of double numbers which balance each other. So, for example, in Fibonacci cycle, there is a 1-1 and an 8-8. Yeah, those two numbers balance each other. 2-2 and 7-7 in Lucas numbers. Okay, and then in pi numbers, which is what we're in now, is 5-5 and 4-4. Yeah, this cycle here, what I'm just showing you, pi numbers, is called pi. I called it pi numbers because it just starts on 314. Okay, this cycle is the same cycle as here as well, and of course it actually starts right here between the 7-3. This is why with L and everything has been so important, and Eli with Madonna and the Elvis connection. It's all to do with, yeah, I think it's everything's to do with these cycles. Anyway, this is the actual start point right here in this particular version of the cycle, but no doubt it also has a 516 in it, and so these numbers move on. Okay, 5 plus 1 is 6, 6 plus 1 is 7, 7 plus 6 is 13, reduce the 13 down, 1 plus 3 is 4, etc. Okay, and it goes on. The point I'm trying to make here is that in this cycle, 4-4 and 5-5, okay, are the balancing numbers in this cycle. And this year, and in fact, between, in front of the 4-4 and 5-5, you will see 45 come up, and then in front of the 4-4, you will see 54 come up. You'll see those two numbers combined as well, a digit before either 44 or 55. Does that make sense? It's the same in all these cycles. So for like Lucas numbers, you'll see the same thing. Like before the number 9, there's 2 9s in each cycle that are opposite each other, which is these 2 9s. It's the same in every cycle. There's 2 9s that are opposite each other, and then there's a set of double numbers, and then preceding that is like in this one is 2-7, which is this 7-7 is going to balance with a 2-2, and then in front of the 2-2, the other side of this 9 is 7-2. You see the pattern? Anyway, the point is Easter is on 4-5-5-4, depending on how you want to write the calendar. Okay, at the calendar day. So this whole thing here to do with Easter. Now you see, this is very interesting with all the references to pi in Back to the Future. Yeah, with Einstein being the first one to go on the time machine. Yeah, because look what starts this cycle off, pi. The first loop in the time machine. Yeah, with pi, right? Just crazy. What does Doc send him? A minute into the future, 60 seconds. Gone in 60 seconds. Does he send him a minute into the future? Anyway, Super Bowl 60 this year, yeah? One full cycle, yeah? Interesting stuff anyway. And obviously that goes around the clock once, yeah? One cycle. So it's interesting. And Marty throws the pie plate, yeah? To save Doc, etc. Okay, so this is referenced over and over again with pi. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is I'm trying to get to some of these dates that we're really looking at now, and 4/4 is the next big one that I really think for Madonna, because and wouldn't that be just absolutely mental to have the Mary symbolism die the day before the resurrection, the day before Easter Sunday. So this would be the Saturday. That would be absolutely crazy. This is also a pretty good date for the Hoover Dam as well. And if you see my other stuff with the train in, if we do this, that cross is formed by the train and the tank in Goldeneye, which again indicates 44. And the train and the tank are both gematria that match up with Madonna, and that whole scene starts with the tank and ends with the train derailment at the tunnel, and this is the tunnel date. And I will tell you right now that Madonna will be, I believe it's 24,700 days old on 3/31 this year. Yeah, train spotting from the tank in the tunnel, okay, in Goldeneye. So she'll be this age on 3/31. Ewan McGregor's birthday, train spotting. Also in Pulp Fiction, Christopher Walken, his birthday is also 3/31. And what does he hide up his backside? The gold watch. The sun is in his backside. So again, this whole thing with the tunnel connection right here in that timeline, this won't make any sense if you've not seen my other videos. But the point is, on that tunnel in Goldeneye is 247 written on top of the tunnel. The tank has 343 on it. The train has 745 on it. It forms the cross of Christ right here as he's carrying it, okay, or as it's fallen, because on 4/4, because of course, actually, if you go by the date this year, so 4/3 would be, which is going through here, this would be Good Friday when the cross falls, okay, and so the cross is fallen at 3, 4, and 4/4, like this, to be resurrected when? On 4/5. So it's absolutely mental the way this is all connecting in now. We're going to do some number jumps with this Iran thing and put it to bed, and then I'm going to continue on with the train spot and stuff, because it's absolutely insane. I mean, it just is crazy. I don't know what else to say. But again, you've had to be watching my videos for the last several months, really, to really understand what I'm talking about here. Because if you've not seen me talk about this whole GoldenEye decode and all this stuff, it doesn't make no sense, you know, what I'm saying. Anyway, so we've got this tunnel date coming up, which is 3/31. Okay, 3/31 coming up for Madonna as well. This could potentially be something with Madonna, or what I'm thinking now is it could also be a connection back to a tunnel disaster, which I was talking about, maybe actually Madonna dying in the Channel Tunnel or something like that. So actually this could just be a separate event now with the tunnel on 3/31. Could be Madonna on 4/4, the day before Easter, which would be well interesting, especially with the 4/4 here and the Lazarus connection. If you go back to iPet Goat, in iPet Goat there is obviously the Black Madonna, and there with the Jesus figure, he is wrapped in the blood and bandages. But again, Lazarus also is swaddled in bandages when he goes in the tomb. So bandages is a connection to Lazarus as well. Okay, so that again is extremely interesting with Madonna, and also the Hoover Dam for this point, because it's right in the middle of the table, you know. But 49 is in the dollar bill. Okay, 49 is in the dollar bill. 49 is the end of the line in Back to the Future as well. You can get a 49 in the fire trail in Back to the Future as well. So my thoughts on that are, I'm still kind of leaning towards 49 for the Hoover Dam, and also Elvis has got like 3333 numerology on that date as well. Okay, I'm going to get off this right now. Okay, and we are going to go and look at the rest of this stuff with him. So we've got all these number jumps here, and these are all to do with the song from Flock of Seagulls, Iran. Okay, and this also connects in crazy with some other stuff as well, which I don't know what else to say about this, but anyway. So first thing is 5th of March. Remember the 3-5 here, because this is going to be important. And in fact, I almost forgot to mention all this, is that we're also going to see, let's get rid of all this crap. I won't be able to get rid of all of it. Let's see what we can get rid of. Well, it's deleting most of it. Okay. 3, 5, and 53 is going to be well important with this, because it's right above and below. Okay, here's Madonna 62, 6226. Here is Diana 7117, and here is the Queen's death date. Hence why I called this the Queen's Cross, because it's got a lot of, you know, it's got basically the Queen's death date here, and it's also got Diana's birthday. Okay. Anyway, you'll see that's at the top of the. Anyway, the new Iran dude, obviously, this is his birthday. Okay, and so, and I believe, I can't remember what the 53 was. I think he's come in 53. His birthday is 53 years before the Queen's before the Queen's death. Let's double check that. I can't remember exactly. Okay, so let's just go through these number jumps. So and we got, and remember 5-3 here as well, right? So let's go through. Right, right. What we got? His birthday. The first thing I want to do is go to the 4-4 date. That's in the middle of the table. This is the next. This is just, it just seems right for Madonna, even though 331 is really big as well. 20662. So we're already getting that gematria, you know, the numerology for the gematria there for Madonna. Next one. Flock of Seagulls release date through to 3-8. 44 years and 4 days. Okay. Remember, the middle of that table is all to do with 44. All of our stuff with Charlie Kirk, the White Wedding, was to do with 44 as well. 44, absolutely huge. Okay. His birthday through to Diana's birthday, 2992. I don't think I've stopped going on about Diana, Charles, with the Charlie Kirk stuff. It's all to do with the temple. It's to do with Charles and Diana. That's what the temple is. The clock tower in Back to the Future is to do with Charles and Diana. Okay, the white wedding between those two things. 29 is the white wedding number. Okay, 729 is the white wedding number, but 29 ultimately is our big numerology for the wedding. Okay, what else we got here? Here we go again, right? His birthday through to the Queen's, which is this 53. I should have had this on this. Okay, 53 years. Okay, 5-3, Flock of Seagulls, right? We did all that stuff. I did his birthday through to the actual white wedding date, 43, 43. Okay, remember that in the middle of those two number jumps in the table there, the 33 is important. I still think it's going to be 49 for the Hoover Dam, and I think Madonna is going to die right the day before Easter. It's going to be so mental, and if that were to happen, everybody would just be going mental about it because, of course, the connection with Mary and Jesus. Again, 40. I mean, what do I say about this? We've got the 33 in it, the 44 in it, and 43 is the day before 44. Right, what else we got? I'm just crazy, some of these number jumps. Okay. This is him, Iran dude, through to the song Iran. 4561. Doesn't look anything special on the surface, but when we click it or tick it, 618 prime. I don't know if I had that in my other video. I don't think I did because I didn't look at that guy. I didn't look at that guy. So that's brand new as well. 618, Madonna's birthday numbers, prime. Yeah, there's got to be something to it, doesn't it? The new leader of Iran and Flock of Seagulls, Iran, is giving us Madonna. Come on, surely I'm onto something. I mean, I know, Dan, you can only cry wolf so many times, but I'm not. Do you know what I mean? Eventually, the wolf did come and eat the sheep, didn't it? I mean, what have I got here? 9869. Okay. Again, back through to Madonna's 816. 77. This is Elvis. Madonna's 19th birthday. Look at it. 2900. There's our 4343. Again on the tank. Golden Eye. 7 years. Quite nice. This is just mental. It's just crazy stuff. What else we got? This is his birthday again through to Madonna's birthday. Actual 58. 4041. Okay, it would have been nice if this had been a 0, but I'm going to show you where this 441 numerology matches up with another dude out of Pulp Fiction here in a minute, right? So if we go to Pulp Fiction, we just want to note the release date, the October 14th, 94. Yeah, this is a year after Charlie Kirk's birthday. Let's go through this with some of these characters. In fact, I'll show you them right now. We're looking at secondary characters here. This is, I think I keep calling him Brett. Frank Whaley, he's the guy that's like, what? And Jules is like, say what one more time, and then he ends up getting shot anyway. And then this dude here, Burr Steers, he is the Flock of Seagulls character. Okay, so we're going to look at him. We're going to look at Frank. And we're going to also look at Phil Lamar as well, who is Marvin, who gets shot in the head. That scene is kind of copied from Who's That Girl? Okay, Madonna film Who's That Girl? So, let's look at all these number jumps real quick. Firstly, this is Flock of Seagulls guy in the film. His birthday through to 38, 22066. So yes, that could be referencing Crown, or it could be referencing back to Madonna as well. Now, if we go on out to the 31st, we're going to see the 289 number, which we've seen so much of. We can also click on the end date there and get 2209. So this is going to be interesting in a minute. And if we go to the 4th, it's not as interesting. I don't think that's anything crazy. 2477, and we just start going around in circles with what we want to pick out of those numbers. But let's just leave it on. Let's leave it on this. for 331 for a minute, right? Anyway, so we saw the 22066 there for, you know, the 26 stuff with Madonna. This is Brett in the film, okay, through to Madonna's birthday. 3083. We've got the 83 number numerology coming up again, right? 8 years, 161 days, okay? So, you know, hence why, you know, you look at something like this and you say, oh yeah, 83 is an interesting day for Madonna, okay? But this also ties back in with this other dude as well, you know. And this is Marvin, okay, through to 44 now. Now, what is interesting about this, there's 21620 was this numerology kind of matched up with Flock of Seagulls guy through to Madonna, who was 2610. So there was kind of an almost, you know, some similarity there with those two numbers as well. And then I also did Brett through to 331, who also had 229 numerology showing up for 331, which you could also get with Flock of Seagulls guy, okay? 22090. See how you go around in circles with these numbers? It's just absolutely mental, right? I also did Brett to Madonna's birthday, 1800. 18 again is so important with Fibonacci numbers, and that is our phallic symbolism, okay, with the balls. And then what else did I do? I also did I should have had another number jump in here as well, which I forgot to put in here, which is also interesting. But anyway, I ran Iranian leader through to the release of the film. Okay, 9167. Check this. 8030. 83. When he becomes the leader. 83 numerology with the composite number there. So there was also some other stuff, but I can't remember what it was. There was another number jump that came up with some 83 composite numerology as well, but I can't remember what it was off the top of my head. But anyway, not to worry. That's enough stuff for this video. You can see how those three characters just kind of went around in circles there with some very interesting numbers. You know, numbers that were matching up with each other for certain dates. You know what I mean? I just thought it was interesting. What's more, the main thing there was where the hell did it go? And I thought I had something for this as well. What was one of these numbers? I'm sure here. This one. Oh, it was this one. Yeah, okay. Got to click it or tick it on this one. This was Brett through to Madonna with the 3083, and there's the 441 numerology coming up again that we saw. Similar numerology here with the new king, Iran king, and Madonna as well. So what do you say? I don't know. Fascinating stuff. I'm going to leave it there. That's already way too long, wiffly waffly, and definitely some connections in with this. Iran to Iran. Absolutely crazy. Oh, hang on. No. Hang on, Dan. Let's just do this bit. I don't have any number jumps for this, but this whole thing with, let's say, people of European descent being over in the Middle East, and the Crusades and the Last Crusade, okay, this is also in The Last Crusade, this reference to Flock of Seagulls, okay, and it's this scene right here, okay. They're just about to, well, this fighter pilot's after them, and of course, Senior here is going to get the flock of seagulls to take the plane out, okay, to take the baddies out. And notice he's doing the chuk 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 chuk, the call that you would use with your chickens, yeah. And Madonna is Ciccone, okay, Madonna Ciccone, and he's doing the chicken call here for the seagulls. The flock of seagulls is going to take out this dude here, and this dude is trying to do what? This is actually, I should have started this at the start of the video here. This guy is trying to do an airstrike on these two, yeah? He's trying to take them out with an airstrike. He just dropped a bomb right in front of the car here. Where's the blooming car?
Well, they don't come any
closer than
that.
Okay. The airstrike. Alright? Father and son reference. I haven't done any number jumps for these two through to those two, father and son, but it would not surprise me if there's some interesting number jumps between Harrison Ford, Sean Connery, and those two Iranian presidents. It would not surprise me if there's a connection there with those as well. I just haven't got time. I've got like 10, 20 pages of notes. I don't usually even do notes, but I've got like 20 pages of number jumps and notes on this stuff. It's absolutely crazy. I can't believe I didn't really look a bit further forward in that one chart and sort of start projecting out a bit further. But anyway, there's the airstrike. Now his father, yeah, the new president, his father was taken out with what? An airstrike. You can't write this stuff, I'm telling you. It's just like, it's almost like they've just lifted it out of this. So this new crusade with bloody Trump and this whole thing here, and then flock of seagulls here, which is Iran, you know, and the airstrike, you can't write it. Now, I'll tell you what else is in the start of this sequence here. Okay? Oh, there's also a reference to Charlemagne here as well. So a Charlie reference. I'm not going to play it. And also, what we're going to be talking about, again, we're going to go back to the channel tunnel stuff, and maybe we're also going to talk about some different kinds of tunnels as well. Because here we go with the tunnel stuff. Notice on the tunnel as well, the 3-9 for the Hoover Dam. And also notice that the supposed announcement of his presidency was on 3-9. And also notice the 4-4 in the entrance to the tunnel here. Oh dear. And one of these planes is going to crash in the tunnel. Okay? Oh my goodness. And I don't know how many times we've referenced back to tunnels and everything else with this stuff. Anyway, the Crusades. The conflict in the Middle East right now. Iran, flock of seagulls, the Last Crusade. That's it. Done. Thanks for watching. Cheers. Right, bye.